Welcome back to the Titanium Hammer. This is Mike, and I'm coming at you with the weekly news and review for April 10th, 2022. Got a light week of Masterpiece news, but there is some interesting stuff going on in the Masterpiece realm. We also have some Legends and some mainline stuff going on. We see a company out announcing that they're going to return making some Secataurs. This will be the third chance Secataurs get at making a toy line. NECA announces their Party Wagon, their van, and this is the third option for a van. I'm going to talk about this. We see the packaging for Dr. Mindbender, and, well, there's one bad thing about this, but it still looks pretty cool. And, of course, we had a Fan First Wednesday, so we got some Star Wars reveals. We're going to talk about all this and more coming up. So starting out with what's new at Show Z, and out of left field, Show Z changed their logo. Oh, and out of left field, we got this fourth party version of the MP44 Optimus Prime with the improved backpack. So if you don't like the sound box, the sound chip, you want a flatter backpack, this one's it. Now it's swinging back around to the first paint scheme with the white legs. He's coming in stock, and he's $99.99. Next up, we got Bingo Toys Shockwave on sale from $145 down to $119.99, so $120. And yes, it does transform into an upside-down submarine. Yep, the upside-down submarine. Here we go in the bot mode, and I think it does look pretty good. It looks pretty good, and they did what they could with the Bumblebee movie design and turned it into an upside-down submarine. It's a tale as old as time and a design even older. Yes, this is Bad Cube's Pipes, or they call it Piper from the Old Timer series. And it is on sale right now currently for $44.99. So if you don't want to wait 2 years to get a Fans Toys one, and you are okay with this one, and you like to get a good deal, then there it is, $45. Alright, so let's lead with the biggest Masterpiece news of the week, and that is Fans Toys putting out a reissue of their Thomas, and they're also putting out a reissue of their Galvatron. So looking at this, there are two different options. On the left, you see the Japanese, and on the right, you see the US. And I literally just picked the US one, and I wanted to put a lot more thought into it, but I knew if I didn't get my pre-order in, I would miss it. And then I immediately went on to post on my community so you guys would know it's in stock at Show Z, and it sold out pretty quick. But I think they look good. And I'm still, after almost a whole day, undecided which one of these I like better. So I went with the US one, but there's things about the Japanese one I like. But either way, the toy design, it looks really good. And in my mind, see, I was going to do a whole video about this because I have a lot of thoughts about this. But in my mind, this is actually what I wanted. I actually wanted it to look like this in the first place, but we got the other one in the first place. Yeah, the other one's more screen accurate, but this looks amazing. I'm really excited. See, the alt modes actually make a lot more sense in the Japanese version, and I know the US version is pretty accurate, but looking at it, which one looks cooler to you? And I just which one do you like the most? Now, I have a lot more to say about this, but the main thing is this is considered a limited release, so I'm starting to wonder, did they make twice as many Thomas as they did the Galvatron or the Sovereign, or did they make like half is going to be the US and half is going to be the Japanese? So really, I'm kind of curious. I'd like to know production quantities, which they never reveal, and we never truly know. We always guess about it, but these look great. It looks like fun. It's not going to be out till like December, later on this year. Now we got the Galvatron. Now this one was one that I sort of was on the fence about, but I pre-ordered it right away because I knew if I didn't, there wouldn't be an option later on. And I'm not sure if there'll be any extras at release that we'll be able to buy up. But again, we've been seeing that with almost every release lately, that there are a lot of extras floating around at all the distributors once all the pre-orders are filled. So I don't know with these limited releases and this toy version if that's what it's going to be. The FT16T Sovereign, the T is for toy, and this is what we were all used to seeing in toy form. We'd have this in the toy form, and we knew it was going to come eventually, but this looks great. I really like the way it looks. Overall, you've got a touch of, well, it's kind of a mix. You've got some flat areas, which I don't know if it's painted or if it's just bare plastic, and then we have other areas that have magnificent paint, just outstanding paint. So it's going to be a great looking figure. We've already gotten the original, and then we got the movie, the M, and now we got the T, and it's $220 price point. So both of these figures that Fans Toys announced, $220 price point. So they are expensive because I think the original one of this came out at $160. So it's $60 more than the first one that came out. several years ago. And here is the alt mode. And we should be getting the X-Transbots one eventually. So probably have the X-Transbots one before this comes out. But who knows? Who knows how things work. But anyhow, this is how it looks in alt mode. And it's going to be one of the big questions like, will the X-Transbots alt mode be better than this or not? And there are people saying that this was a little bit too short of an alt mode or whatever, but it works really well and the transformation is pretty solid, so it looks great in this color scheme. So leave it to Fans Toys to hog all the news. Let's talk about the MMC version of Deathsaurus. These are updated pictures to their R42C D-Zeph Continuum, and it looks pretty good. It actually looks way better with the paint on it. And I don't think it looked bad in the grayscales, but the paint is phenomenal. It's amazing how many different paint apps they put on this thing, all the different color variations. It does look great. And again, I think this is a 3 inches shorter than what X-Transbot's doing, but it's still going to be a pretty beefy figure. Here he is in his alt mode, and that chest piece transforms into a whole bunch of different stuff too, which I actually really didn't know. I don't have a Deathsaurus yet, so it's going to be a learning experience for me, getting it, reviewing it, all that kind of stuff. But I think I'm going with the X-Transbots version. This is like a little bird that's his chest shield, and it transforms 3 different little things that it transforms into. And then it also can convert into this kind of lion-looking thing. So it's still pretty cool. It's a pretty cool toy from back in the day, and a very good representation. And this is kind of showing yet even another configuration, or more of those smaller companion figures. Yeah, it is a dry bit of Masterpiece news this week, but this is interesting. There's going to be a KO oversize of the MP44. So not just a KO MP44, but a KO oversize. And I'm not sure it's going to be a whole lot better than the Wei Zhang, the MPP10 Wei Zhang made. So Wei Zhang KO oversize MP10, kind of like they're doing with this, and made a lot of improvements and adjustments and fixed the lower legs and this, that, and another. So it'd be really interesting to see these side by side and which one looks better side by side. But I do like this mold. I do like MP44, and so it is pretty exciting. But who all in on the 12-inch game these days? It seems like the 12-inch game is almost dead. So getting into some Legends news, New Age is coming out with their 15th version of... okay, it is sort of David, but it's actually their H28 EXR Rhodes Shining Magnus. And it's clear, and it's kind of cool that they're doing it. They do a lot of clear stuff, and it's not a surprise. But underneath this is what surprised me. When I first saw it, I didn't realize that they were doing this, but underneath it all is a fully painted figure, and I actually really liked it. I'm sure they did that so it would hold up and be strong. And there it is. So that is really cool to me too. So yes, you get a translucent looking figure, and then underneath it is not translucent, and that's a really cool paint job. That looks amazing. That is just so interesting they're doing that. Now, I don't know how well the translucent parts will reflect light or all that kind of stuff, so that's kind of interesting too. But let's see what the alt mode looks like. And here is the alt mode, and it's interesting. So in the alt mode, you're going to see the solid cab and the clear armor and all that. So different take on what they've been doing all along. And although I don't have a picture of it, I guess they have a video about it. Armor glows in the dark. It also glows in the dark. So like they're doing a lot with this, and pretty interesting. Pretty interesting. Okay, so we're seeing McFans Toys along with Dr. Wu, Mechanic Studio. They are KOing, and I maybe KO oversizing, because that's usually what happens here, but I think it's just straight KO. I'm not sure. Anyhow, this is Steve the Train, which is SA01T, which is kind of a copy of, I think it was it New Age that made this in the past, as Thomas the Train. Here's the interesting part. They kind of covered like a smiley face over Thomas's face. But I remember seeing this like announced, or another company was working on it, but I never picked it up myself. But I still think it's kind of interesting that they do it, and that somebody's out there making this kind of stuff. And now it's getting KO'd. And they're making a yellow one called Centurion. It's the SA01B, and this is what it looks like in its alt mode. So there's no smiley face on the front of this, so they don't have to kind of fudge that. But Steam Age. So cool that you could actually get a series of these. Instead of just being one and done, you can get a whole series of them, different recolors of them, and that kind of stuff. There's the red one, which evidently is going to be a cliff jumper. So cool if you're in on this. Start looking out for it. It's probably going to be way cheaper than the original versions. So we got more pictures of New Age's Cyclonus, and I gotta say, they are killing it. They are destroying the version that Magic Square made, just by far. This looks fantastic, and it looked fantastic in the other pictures, but here's the alt mode, and just pretty seamless. It's a great looking transformation overall. It's nice. I don't know how complex the transformation is. I'm just saying, the end result looks to be worth it. And then here's another picture of the full bot mode, and the paint and presentation is always amazing with these. And this guy here, this is truly a mini masterpiece. Just look at that thing. And then the big thing is we got the packaging. So it's getting pretty close to coming out. Now I've got this pre-ordered, but I don't have any sort of like notification that it's coming just yet. So I think it's getting closer, and we're going to be seeing that probably the next week or two. All right, so getting into mainline news, we actually got some packaging pictures, and I will admit, this packaging really is cool. This is cool looking packaging. I just wish I could see the figure. So with that, this is Blitzwing. Now, if you happen to have already watched the review of this, you probably didn't see a box. So there is the box, and that's what it looks like. So it does look pretty cool. I do like the purple. And remember, Astro Train is a leader class. This is a commander class, and this, of course, is going to be Motormaster. It's going to be the beginnings of this whole new combiner war. They're going to be redoing all the combiners, I guess, but it'll be the first one, the Minosaur, the all-in-one box. So once this shows up, we're going to see how everything goes together and how it works, how the engineering works, and all that kind of stuff. I don't think we've seen actually a combine mode picture yet, or at least I haven't, so I kind of look forward to seeing all that kind of stuff going on. They didn't show the back of this, so we didn't really get to see all that. And we get a Shattered Blaster. It's a Shattered Glass Autobot Blaster and Rewind. So, kind of cool color schemes. We knew there's going to be repaints of the blaster mold, and how long till we get the twin cast or whatever? So, twin cast. So, cool looking and really, really interesting packaging. Speaking of blaster, there is allegedly a variant head sculpt, face sculpt. And if you can see on the left, it's a bit of a smirk, and on the right, more stoic, a serious face going on right there. But when you think about this, this could always be a custom. Somebody could just be pulling everyone's chain, but it looks really good. I mean, it looks very official. All I can say is, just for fun, if you're out and about, check out Blaster's face. Do you find a blaster with a smirk? That just might be something fun, and you might get a smirk out of that. Okay, so we have a Transformers Prime Arachnid made by APC Toys. Now, what they have done is kind of KO'd them from the past, and they did pretty good work. I've seen the Optimus Prime, and I got a clear one. And then they did a Megatron, which actually looks really good. And this one here looks good, too. I think they actually do kind of update sort of the paint apps, or just make it look a little bit cooler paint-wise. But I think all the parts are almost exactly the same and identical. But there's the bot mode. Here is the chopper. Get to the chopper. So I guess this is like a triple changer over here, because it turns into a helicopter, and then you can turn it into a sort of a weird-looking spider with the arms folded up in there. So kind of cool, kind of works. And then there's the real prototype, the actual prototype, Arachnid. Looking interesting. Thought it was pretty cool that we got this showing from screen to toy, how basically Hasbro took the first 4 minutes of the Bumblebee movie and turned that into a toy. And some of these look closer to the animation than I thought, but some are a little bit far off. So I think that they made RC just a little bit bulkier, but it's still kind of curious to see from one to the other. Seems like for most of them, they're just bulkier as toys than they were on the screen, which I kind of understand that in a way, but I would have liked it more like the on-screen counterpart. But anyway, there is the Wheeljack, and that's how he looks. I think hands down, unanimously, everybody agrees that Brawn is the closest to the on-screen counterpart, and that's why people seem to like that one the most, but that looks pretty close. So yeah, he's a little bit beefier, a little bit stockier, but not by much. Well, maybe Soundwave's the best, but Soundwave actually looks slimmer than the on-screen counterpart, which is pretty interesting and kind of cool. But I think Soundwave always looks cool, though, no matter what. Here's the Ratchet, and I will give it to Hasbro. I think they did a really good job just taking some animation that was created, which my understanding was added at the last minute of the Bumblebee movie. And they took that animation that was created and are making it into a real life figure at retail for a lot of these are the $23 price point, some are the 30 whatever price point, but I have to hand it to them. I think they're doing a pretty good job. Here's Arachnid, and that's how he looks, which I mean obviously just like Ratchet, so not bad. There's Starscream real quick, and does look pretty cool. That is a very interesting look there for the old Starscreamer. And the Shockwave, I really think this Shockwave is a digital render, so once we see it in real life, it might be a little bit better than this. I don't know, I'm not going to hold my breath or anything, but there's a lot of opportunity here. Still, most of them look pretty good. Alright, so getting into kind of a roundup of what all's showing up around everywhere. I do want to point out, in my area, this is all the kind of stuff that's showing up around here. We've got the Galvatron that showed up, and of course we got the new package with the blaster and the bulkhead, and we got the buzzworthy Bumblebee, Silver Street, which, Soundwave, kind of cool, and oddly enough, seems like Hot Rod showed up everywhere too, so I don't know if he was packed in with something, but anyway, kind of cool, kind of fun to see new stuff, but then not much else since this. So we got some Core Class showing up in Chile, so this is what is to come. I still don't have the Spike yet, but look forward to getting that guy. We have the Studio Series Wave 15 Deluxe showing up in Italy and Mexico, so stuff's out there. It's showing up out there, and I kind of get excited about that. I get excited when stuff starts showing up and starts arriving. It's kind of fun seeing things in the works. And Beast War reissues the Secataurs. So, I'm not sure how many more reissues we're going to get of these figures, and how many more they have planned. But it is kind of interesting seeing these on the shelves. And I think we've seen a comparison last week. There's another comparison of the old versus the new Galvatron. So we're talking about the Kingdom, I guess, the Kingdom versus the Legacy. And the new one is, in my opinion, better because you don't have all the paint all over it. And the chances are they got the shoulders right. You still don't know unless you open it, but chances are they got the shoulders right. And the paint is a little bit different, slightly different purple on it. But for the most part, almost the exact same figure with slight redeco. And in the alt mode, you almost can't tell. So you almost cannot tell at all in the alt mode, one version versus the other. So we got an eHobby exclusives of these new official Transformer acrylic logos, which look really cool. So this is how big they are, because you can see this is an MP444 holding it, so you have an idea how big it is. So without having any clue going, oh, well, how big is it? Well, they show you. And you know, there is Starscream holding it. So they're kind of cool. It can be used for maybe a background. Maybe it can be used up front. Maybe you could lay it on the ground. Maybe you could angle it. Maybe you can make it part of your display somehow. So that would be kind of cool. We also have this here with a 2010, and that looks kind of cool. That's how big it is. And oddly shaped. Gives it shape different than the rest of these. And then this one here is it's kind of a Japanese one. And these are all Masterpiece figures, and those are some Masterpiece Beast Wars. Okay, so we have got some pictures of Dr. Mindbender in his packaging, and guess what? It looks like it's going to be a deluxe. It's going to be one of those nearly 40, if not 40, probably by the time it comes out, $42 sets. So that's a little disappointing in itself, unless, of course, you're super into paying twice as much just to get some extra accessories, then you're going to be in heaven. So that is sad to me that they're doing it like this. I would have rather just had a standard release figure, but they might still do a standard release kind of like they did with Zartan, but please don't make it impossible to get. But on the other hand, I think I just want a standard one. So there's no price on this just yet. There's no date of availability, no information if it's going to be a Pulse exclusive or you can get it anywhere, probably a Pulse exclusive, but it does look cool. The packaging is cool, the way they set it up, and there's a little box for where everything goes. I actually do like that. I think it's cool. I just don't think whatever the price is going to be, that's not going to be cool. Alright, so getting into the Super 7 reaction, I don't know, what wave is this called? This wave 11 or something like that? I'm just kidding. But they're up for pre-order on BBTS right now. So we've got a Baroness that looks great, and I'm hoping to catch it at Target and maybe get a deal or something. 25 off 100, buy a bunch of them. Then there's a Cobra Commander, and they call this one this is a little bit different of a Cobra Commander. I forgot what they call it, but it's something different, slightly different than the one they already made. And I guess you can expect to have every figure repainted a bajillion times, but here's Firefly with a strange color scheme on him, and I mean, it looks okay. I'd rather have a standard Firefly. And then here's Flint, and he looks pretty good, actually. I think that figure does look great. And then we have Roadblock, which I love. And then we're going to get him with the kind of a parody of the PSAs, the PSA parodies. So we're going to get that Roadblock also, but I really just want the standard one the most. And then we're going to get this Snake Eyes Commando, which looks really good. Still sporting some of the blue, and I didn't pick up the first Commando. So I'm not all in on this line. I'm selectively picking and choosing because of that price point. And G.I. Jane 2, I can't wait to see it. Oh, that's Fun School. Oh, wait. This is a mock-up somebody made. A lot of fun. Well, maybe not. Maybe it's too soon. Go from Yojo to Cowabunga. We've got the Turtle Van from NECA coming up, and you could pre-order it right now. And they have a payment plan, so it's $250. This is what it looks like. I have a whole lot to say about it, but all I'm really going to say is that at first I was put off by it. I thought it was like too squished looking, but the more I looked at this and compared it to the animation, the more I actually like it, so I think I'm going to be in on it. So I think it's like $66 down, and then 3 more payments of $62 or something like that for the payment plan. I think I can swing that, and it'll make it seem a little bit more affordable. Shipping's only like $15 on it. You can get it at their site right now. Here it is from the side. And overall, I thought it kind of looked smooshed, but I did get a screenshot of it. So it's not the best screenshot in the world, but you do have that bump in the back. And that spoiler does go up way high. So NECA tries to go 100% super hyper tune with their tune line. And I love that about NECA. And they probably pulled it off here. And I know the Thunder Tank looks amazing. I saw an update on Thunder Tank. That just looks outstanding. And then here's the back of it. So overall, it's not bad. And I think I'm in on this one. And the Underground Arsenal. So the one that shows Z. Great options. So a company by the name of Nacelle. I've never heard of them before. Well, I probably should have because I heard of some of the other announcements prior to this. But they're making Secataurs. Now, that's all the information we've got. We don't know when. We don't know what scale. We don't know what they're going to look like. We don't really know distribution other than what we're seeing already with what's coming up with Roboforce. So they're making Roboforce, and it is back. They show pictures of it. It's got legs now with 2 legs instead of a big suction cup, but you will still have suction cups and all that kind of stuff. Pre-sale April 22nd. I'm curious. I'm going to be checking it out to see how much they are. I'm going to be checking out to see everything about this once that it goes up, but there's really nothing about it on their page just yet. And they're also supposed to be on the Power Lords. They're supposed to be making the Power Lords. Now, here's the thing. These lines are more than just a handful of figures. They have quite a few figures. There's 10 figures in the Power Lords line. And so if they could keep the price somewhere around maybe the $30 range per figure, I will definitely be in on them. They're a little higher than that. I might pick and choose. But I would like to support them as much as I can if they could keep the price somewhat reasonable. Okay, so getting into Star Wars. What we saw this last Wednesday, I guess I didn't watch the live stream, so I'm just going to be talking about the pictures and what I see here. This is the Vintage Collection ARC Trooper Jesse, so another Trooper, Clone Trooper, and people love these different clone variations and all the different clone characters from the Clone Wars. Very popular. I'm sure this thing's going to sell out right when it hits shelves. Pretty cool, and it says Clone Wars on it, so it looks good. Figure and Dan, now this is sort of up my alley in a way, but there's going to be something going on with this. First of all, you can get this figure carded, and it's got 3 different accessories in it. It's 3 different ones in there. But if you want to get the whole band, all 5 of them, then you would want to buy the 5-pack. There's going to be a 5-pack coming later, and it's probably going to be in a closed box, not like this. So I think this is pretty cool. It'd be nice to add a couple of these to a collection. So we got the Lando Calrissian from Battlefront 2. So in Battlefront 2, if you play Heroes vs. Villains, then you can get in there and kind of change your clothing, your appearance, whatever. You spend your Republic credits on that. And so this is what he looks like. So this is kind of the smooth, younger Lando. Looks pretty cool. And probably the biggest release is this Shea Vizsla. This figure has been hard to get. A $400, $500, $600 figure. I sold mine off once people were telling me how much they were going for a long time ago. So I'm pretty excited to get her back in the collection because I knew this for a fact. Hasbro's going to reissue everything and their mama. So I'm living through this. I said that back in the day, and here it is coming to light. Okay, so we also got the Death Watch Mandalorian Airborne Trooper coming on the way. I do want to point out that the standard figures that are going to be standard releases are now $15, and if it's a gaming grades, so if it's one with the game, I think Shea Vizsla and the Lando, they're going to be GameStop gaming grades, and they'll be $18. So let's see. Here is the Mandalorian Super Commando Captain, and there he is. So looks pretty cool. And I think we already got this one. I think we might have already got this one in Black Series. Now we're just getting it in Vintage Collection. And we're getting a troop builder, a 5-pack of Death Troopers. Okay, Death Troopers have been kind of hard to get. And individually carded, that's kind of been getting expensive. So it's good they're putting this out for the people that just want to open them up and troop builds. We're not going to be slashing open Death Troopers and that kind of stuff. So looks pretty cool, interesting. I actually do like this design. So, Retro Collection Chewbacca. All the different colors on the Chewbacca. This is kind of what they do with the prototype. So, they use whatever color of plastics around, they inject it, and just test the mold. So, with this, I have to say, if I see it, I'll get it. If I don't, I won't. I'm not really super after it. I'm a little on the fence, because it's really a niche kind of thing. But the fact that they're probably not making very many of these. I think Target's each just get one case or something. But I have to say that the Boba Fett's hung there for a long time, and I was able to get my Boba Fett. The Stormtrooper, on the other hand, the case was there. They couldn't sell it to me. I tried to buy it. They wouldn't sell me one, so we put it all back. I showed up on the day they said to show up, and they were all sold out at 8:30 in the morning. So, I don't know. That was fishy. That was real fishy, what happened there. And since I'm on the fence, I didn't really care. But this is going to be tough to get. It's going to be tough to get. Alright, so we got Black Series Republic Commando. This is the RC1207SEV. Okay. Kind of cool. It's something else that they're making. If you want it, you can get one of these, I guess. And then we have this white Darth Vader, which is supposed to be, from what I understand, he's the redeemed Darth Vader. He's Darth Vader that switched to the good side. Is that right? Am I wrong? Is this just like the prototype that they did with the white prototype Boba Fett? But my understanding from what I have heard about this is he's been redeemed. But anyway, we're also going to be doing a Princess Leia. Now, the thing is, we've seen a lot of Leias come out lately, and I think this does look kind of cool, though. And it is from, I don't know, a novel or something like that. So she still looks pretty cool. She looks pretty interesting. So we're getting a Sol Guerrera, which I'm not surprised. From the Rogue One, finished out the crew, whatever. I think it looks pretty cool. He's a deluxe. I predict he won't sell super well, but I'm going to eventually end up grabbing one of these. It's pretty cool. We're also getting a Sergeant Creel, which is, I guess, going to be a GameStop exclusive type deal. And he's going to be $27.99. And yeah, there's anything they could do to get a Stormtrooper with a lightsaber. I guess that's kind of cool. And we're getting a Trapper Wolf helmet. So it just looks like red 5s. Let's say gold 5 standing by. Yeah, that's pretty cool. Pretty interesting. It's $132. I don't know if I like that price.